America. Join us for team coverage of the Bicentennial Bash tonight.
Also tonight, we'll take you behind the scenes of the gala event, seen coast to coast.
And the lighting of the Ben Franklin Bridge lights up the skies of Philadelphia and signals the culmination of the 200th birthday of the nation's Constitution. I'm Stan Stovall, live on the Royal Viking Sky, and a special edition of the Channel 10 News Update is coming up next.
What a day. And can you believe it all happened here all in a period of 12 hours? I'm Larry Kane, and this is the way it is tonight, September 17th, 1987, 200 years after the Constitution was signed. The sights and sounds of an American celebration filled the night sky over Philadelphia late tonight.
And that's not all. Within the last 15 minutes, a dazzling array of lights have danced all across the Ben Franklin Bridge tonight, in addition to an impressive fireworks display. Stan Stovall is live on the ship Royal Viking right now at Penn's Landing. What a night, Stan.
Alan, Larry, you're absolutely right. It was quite a night. Hello, everybody. I'm Stan Stovall, coming to you live from aboard the cruise ship, the Royal Viking Sky. And we had a bird's-eye view of the long-awaited lighting of the Ben Franklin Bridge. Right now, let's go to a little videotape and show you that lighting, which came about 39 minutes ago at precisely 10:30. A stunning display of lights before a large and enthusiastic crowd that has been down here at Penn's Landing for most of the day today. A colorful array of lighting, and certainly it's a colorful addition to what we have seen for the past several months. Right now, I have Mayor Wilson Goode with me, and Mr. Mayor, you know, there was a lot of criticism about whether or not this is going to come off or not. Here we are. It's history. The finale. We made it.
I think it worked very, very well. Bill Rouse, his people, Jim White and his people, Kevin Tucker, Bill Richmond, Maurice Clifford, a whole team of people, Fred Stein, a magnificent example of teamwork, of coordination, and I'm very, very pleased.
A feather in your cap, naming Willard Rouse to be the chairman of the We the People 200. He pulled it together. It's incredible. We had a great day today here in Philadelphia.
He carried out some very good plans in a magnificent way. My hat is off to Bill Rouse and Fred Stein, but the service departments also were out there all day long, coordinating thing. I'm very, very pleased.
As mayor of the city did you proud today, didn't it?
I'm proud to be a Philadelphian.
We all are. We all are. Mr. Mayor, I know you want to get out of here. The crowd is dissipating. We're not going to hold you. It's raining, and everybody wants to get out of here. Thank you for joining us tonight, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, all right, now right behind me, basically the fireworks display just finished, I guess, about 8 minutes ago, and we're also going to take a look at some of the fireworks if we can. There you go. One of the biggest and brightest fireworks displays ever. Just a fantastic display of fireworks. The whole fireworks display itself lasted a grand total of about 22 minutes, one of the longer fireworks displays I've seen in quite some time. And judging from the reaction from everyone here on board the Royal Viking Sky, they definitely appreciate it. You can hear comments throughout the boat all evening long. Ooh, look at this, look at that. So certainly an indication that the people came to see a great fireworks display, and they got what they came to see. Larry and Alan, we will be back to you later in the program, but first, we're going to go to Brian Williams, who's down on Penn's Landing, where everyone happy about the fireworks display, happy about the lighting of the Ben Franklin Bridge, and he's among the throngs of folks who are heading home tonight. Brian?
Stan, the gang is all here indeed. They're heading home quickly, though. We're getting some rain, intermittent, off and on all night, but I must say, it's as if Mother Nature knew that Philadelphia had something special to do today, because for the most part tonight, she's been very, very kind to us. Thousands here tonight. Let's take a look at some sights and sounds from Penn's Landing. This is what they must have meant by We the People. Throngs of people of all kinds on Penn's Landing tonight. The waterfront was packed early on, partly in anticipation, partly to watch tonight's flotilla of boats down the Delaware. Some were here to make a buck, reading a little quick capitalism into the Constitution. A lot for sale, a lot of food. Some were here to party, and some to make a fashion statement.
Because they're fashionable. I like them. They're odd.
They haven't attracted any aircraft that you know of.
I don't think so, not yet.
We did find several who hadn't forgotten why we were all here tonight.
We're lucky we're allowed to do this.
We won't be here for the next one.
There's a lot of things we're allowed to do other people aren't allowed to.
I love the whole thing. Everything. I wouldn't miss it.
How do you feel about the Constitution these days?
Great. It's great. We needed it.
They all came out in the dark of night, things that glowed, matching kids, matching shirts, balloon hats, and a few reminders of times of old. From up above, a sea of people all along the Delaware River. Then the rain came, umbrellas popped up, the brave determined to make it a big night and stick it out until the grand finale. I hope you have a color set. That's all I can say. A few thousand people down at Penn's Landing tonight. Quite a few people. Very few problems. All of them treated to a good time. And right now, what's a little rain after the show Philadelphia just put on for the entire nation? Time to go back into the studio right now with Larry and Alan.
Brian, sounds like you had a great time.
Absolutely did.
Okay, thanks, Brian. While people from our area enjoyed that big party at Penn's Landing, people from across America got to share in the gala at the Civic Center on national television tonight. Viewers were treated to a star-spangled television event with performers ranging from Philly superstar Patti LaBelle to the Mormon Tabernacle Choir.
Now, that exciting program was just one of this evening's gala We the People events. We begin our live team coverage right now with Bob Orr. He's at the Civic Center in Philadelphia. And, Bob, the stars were out tonight, and they weren't in the sky either.
That's right, Alan, Larry. A real glitzy night here at the Civic Center. A lot of people having fun. Many of those at home saw the gala just conclude here on Channel 10, but there were a number of people, hundreds of people from across the Delaware Valley who were here this evening in person early to be a part of what they saw as a chance to be a part of history. Dignitaries in tuxes pulling up in limousines gave the gala the look of a Hollywood opening, but others dressed casually and arriving on buses reminded all that this was a people's celebration. And the glitzy two-hour entertainment spectacle inside the Civic Center did not disappoint.
It was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
I think so. My parents came here from Czechoslovakia. They immigrated in 1959, and it was just wonderful to see.
After the show, some people left for the bridge light and fireworks. But 1,600 invited guests moved next door to the Pennsylvania Hall for a dinner and reception honoring government leaders like Attorney General Edwin Meese and entertainers including Walter Matthau. An extravagant wrap-up to a day-long party that's drawing high marks.
The day has been spectacular, and it's really a credit to We the People, to Willard Rouse, to all of those who made it possible, and it's a credit to the people themselves. They now realize that the Constitution is alive and has contemporary meaning and importance to every citizen of this country.
I'm very proud of everything that We the People 200 has done, and I'm thrilled with the way this day came off.
And I think most people around Philadelphia feel the same way that Governor Bob Casey and Willard Rouse feel about the events, particularly about the show tonight. A lot of great remarks from people coming out of the entertainment gala. But I wonder what Dennis Cunningham thought of the show. Dennis is standing by live now in our newsroom with his own unique view. Dennis.
Yes, thank you, Bob. And I'll tell you, now, I've been at the rehearsals for that show all this week for one reason or another, and I've watched an enormous and awkward enterprise become a smoothly spun show. So I may be a bit too close to this constitutional gala to give a totally unprejudiced view, but in the true American spirit, do let me give it a try. It seems that of late we cannot have an event of national significance without having a television special that goes along with it, and so it was with the 200th anniversary of our Constitution. At times it was an uneasy balance of the hallowed halls of justice and the decidedly less hallowed halls of Las Vegas.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rich Little.
Yes, it could get a bit top-heavy with a few too many anthems, and some might say it was a bit too long, but who could complain about 2 hours in exchange for 200 years? Besides, it was also a surprisingly thoughtful and provocative examination of just what the Constitution is and just what a surprisingly living document it is.
But the court finally hit its stride with a case that established once and for all its importance as an equal partner in the affairs of government.
At still other times, it was an acknowledgement of just how wide and wonderful a diversity is this country, and at still other times, just a good patriotic entertainment.
Philadelphia, Philadelphia, that's where it all began, yes!
But at the best of times, it was a stirring tribute to the miracle that is the United States of America.
We the people, you must treat me once again.
Well, anyway, no matter what you or I thought of the telecast, there could be little disagreement that this was, from early today to this very moment, and beyond this, indeed, a worthy and wonderful celebration. Larry and Alan.
Tell me, Dennis, did Rich Little do you tonight?
No, he didn't, as a matter of fact.
Oh,
Your name came up, but no.
It was a great show. I agree with you. It
Yeah.
was a wonderful show at the Civic Center tonight. Thanks, Dennis. One of the most spectacular sights of the day was the Constitution Day Parade. Now, the parade was billed as one of the biggest in American history, and as Stephanie Stahl reports, this $3.5 million extravaganza certainly lived up to its expectations.
And so now let the procession begin.
Undaunted by the rain, we the people, proud Americans, carried on the tradition and took to the soggy streets of Philadelphia to celebrate freedom and justice. A procession of states honoring the original 13 and a tribute to our founding fathers. They marched past the hall where it all started and traced the colonial days, days of blacksmiths, farmers, and bakers. This parade commemorating 200 years of freedom is billed as one of the largest in American history with 20,000 participants. But another Philadelphia tradition, not quite as old, has an even bigger parade every year. That's the Mummers, 22,000 strong. Mummers, bands, and floats from all over the country strutted and strolled for 2.5 miles, setting the patriotic stage for the 40th Commander-in-Chief.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
And I can think of no more fitting tribute to the Constitution's bicentennial than ringing the centennial bell, and with it will be rung bells all over the nation.
Stephanie Stahl, Channel 10 News Update.
After the music, after the color and excitement of the parade, came the big ceremony at Independence Hall, and Dennis Waltering has that story.
The Centennial Bell rang out. Hundreds of doves were freed, and red, white, and blue balloons released after President Reagan praised the Constitution as a triumph of human freedom, a covenant with humanity that sets the United States apart from other countries.
You could go from here to live in another country, France, but you wouldn't become a Frenchman. You could go to Japan and live there, but you wouldn't become a Japanese. But people from every corner of the world can come to this country and become an American.
Because of security, only the invited and specially credentialed could watch all of this in person. Clinton Gumbel was not among the privileged. You couldn't see him at all?
No. So we did see a couple demonstrators get arrested.
Charles and Nancy East of South Philly got tickets by writing a letter to the White House.
I feel that we all should be appreciative of our freedom in the United States.
Mrs. East, what was your feeling, the ceremony?
I'm very proud, and I wish we could come back again.
After saluting the Constitution, President Reagan helped raise $275,000 for Senator John Hines' re-election campaign at a $500 a plate lunch. And the president was asked about his nominee for the Supreme Court by a 5-year-old girl from North Philadelphia.
I asked the president, would Judge Bork be good for black
people.
And what did he say?
Yes.
In the case of Judge Bork, the American people, I'm certain, are finding him to be intelligent, prudent, firm believer in the Constitution, and a strong defender of individual rights.
Out here earlier, President Reagan said the American Revolution truly began 200 years ago when the Constitution was signed. He said that's the first time the notion that all men are created equal was finally made a part of a government. At Independence Mall, Dennis Woltering, Channel 10 News Update.
Lighting. Now, this project was funded in part by corporate sponsors. We got some private funds, certainly. Right now, joining me is Fred DeBona, who is the chairman of the Ben Franklin Bridge Lighting Committee. Fred, what do you think? It looks great.
Oh, I think it's absolutely super. All of us are very pleased, and really a great thanks to the many people of Delaware Valley who contributed dollars, contributed their time to make this thing tonight a success.
Everybody helped out, from little kids donating a nickel, a dime, to major sponsors donating several $1,000s. Everyone pitched in for this effort.
It truly was a partnership. We raised about a third of the dollars from government, a third from foundations, and a third from the private sector.
Yeah.
And it ranged from the $5 contribution up to the hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we're just pleased.
I've got to tell our viewers, I asked Fred earlier, you know, everybody on ship was asking, now is the bridge going to look like this every night from now on? And Fred said to me, well, we might cut down on the fireworks just a little bit. But for the most part, the bridge will be lit just like this, right?
It's a lasting tribute. You know, when all the parades are gone and all the hoopla is gone, it is the lighting of the Benjamin Franklin that will remain as an architectural signature for this city and the warmth and the relationship between our two great cities and our two great states.
Well, our hats off to you. A job well done, and to all the people who helped make this a reality.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Fred, thanks a lot. Now, the fireworks show, which began immediately after the Ben Franklin Bridge lighting, that was a sight to behold. I mean, just a tremendous fireworks show. It was billed as the biggest and best ever of the year and was staged by the world-famous Grucci fireworks team. Certainly a night of splendor, a night of pageantry, as the entire Delaware Valley area, especially along this stretch along Penn's Landing, is lit up for this gala extravaganza. Joining me now is author George Plimpton. And George, earlier today we talked about the possibility that fog was rolling, and this was much earlier in the day, about 14 hours ago. As it turned out, the fog moved out, and it was a beautiful night for fireworks.
Oh, it was extraordinary. It was an absolutely perfect night. There was supposed to be a lightning storm coming through. It veered off, coming in from Harrisburg, and went away for some reason or other. You know, 200 years ago, which is rather interesting, there wasn't a fireworks show, but there was an extraordinary spectacle of Aurora Borealis, the northern lights, and people remarked on it. And it was on this same day 200 years ago. So here, 200 years later, we have the fireworks show, which matches an Aurora Borealis. Now,
wonderful. You're big on fireworks. You told me earlier you really like them. Give me a comparison. How does this shape up to some of the other big fireworks shows you've seen over the last couple of years? For example, the big Statue of Liberty celebration in New York a couple of years ago.
Well, it's certainly comparable. Of course, the Statue of Liberty show was mammoth. I mean, it cost 10 times as much as the one that we had here, and money, unfortunately, has got a lot to do with
it certainly does.
Fireworks shows. And in a way, I thought this was a much more interesting, subtle show. It had different moods and different reflections, and much more interesting to listen to music to it. Whereas the Statue of Liberty show was too massive. They had $1 million worth of fireworks they had to send up in 20 minutes. So you had no time to sort of catch your breath. But here there were nice shifts in effects and mood.
Yeah. By the way, I've got to ask you, the paper line here. The Eagles, they need some help. We're not going to get you to don an Eagles uniform, are we?
Well, I don't know. There are a lot of teams around the league who seem to need help at the moment. Yeah.
Just pulling your leg. Welcome to Philadelphia. We hope you come back real soon.
Oh, it was a wonderful day. It truly
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. Right now, we'll go back to Alan and Larry in the studio.
Maybe Buddy Ryan's watching, Stan. You never know.
By the way, Stan, you had a bird's eye view of it all. The lighting of the Ben Franklin Bridge, the fireworks display. It was quite exciting for you and for all of us on this.
You know, I feel very fortunate in that I was down here and I had a chance to see all the activities down here. You know, you guys, you missed it all. I'm sorry to say, but you'll just have to stick around for another 100 years and maybe you'll catch the next act.
It's only a once-in-a-lifetime affair. I don't think we'll live to be 140 years old.
Exactly.
We'll check it next time. Thanks, Stan. It would be nice if we can do that, though.
All right.
Thanks. And the planning behind this constitutional celebration goes back months, even years, of course. We the People gives the people of this country a good look at the city of Philadelphia. Suzanne Bates reports how all the free press affects the city's image.
As Philadelphia basked in the national spotlight on this 200th anniversary of the Constitution, city leaders predict...
Congress suggests these books